a lot of these things came to my attention because, like, obviously when you're in a Discord, right, people bring stuff up. Hutch's chat being weird by saying me watching the Ravage clip is, quote, metagaming. Watching a clip is not metagaming. Shatters don't know what metagaming is. Metagaming is using that info in character. Now, I suspected that Antoine was wrong before I watched the Ravage clip. For those that don't know what this is, Occam's razor, the most obvious answer is the most likely. You most likely are not going to shoot a gang member for saving their own gang member from getting arrested. From a server standpoint, that does not make sense, supported by the fact that no gang has ever been shot without added variables. You know, if you shot at a cop or something, yeah, then you're probably going to get shot, but it's not just the grabbing your homie that's going to get you shot. So yes, I already suspected that whole situation was wrong. It had nothing to do with the Ravage clip. The Ravage clip literally confirmed it, though. But that was the next day. We saw the Ravage clip the day after, and all that did was confirm my suspicions. I was already suspicious. From the get-go. The clip just confirmed it. I didn't use the clip in character. Literally in my VOD, you can see that I was juggling. I was like, juggling's the word, with the fact that I'm like, oh, I wish I could use this in character, but I can't. But I was already suspicious from the get-go. Once again, this is focused at the chat, right? Right now, all these points are focused at the chat. The metagaming accusations, chat doesn't know what metagaming is. I didn't use the information in character. This as well. Curtis and Geo were literally seconds away from doing the exact same thing that I did, but they were fighting over who should do it because Curtis wasn't confident about breaking cuffs and Geo had a warrant. They were both saying, oh, you do it. No, you do it. Blah, blah, blah. So I was the one that did it because the two of them were arguing. But they were literally seconds away from doing it too, because it's exactly what everybody does when their gang member is in cuffs. So the whole Richard walked in between a triage. He just walked in and grabbed his person. That's literally what every situation like that ends in. Every situation like that where your people are in cuffs, yeah, you walk in, you grab your person. And supported by the fact that Geo and Curtis were literally about to do it too. It just happened to be me. So the chatters that are saying, oh, well, isn't he NVLing by walking into the triage? No. No. Nobody thinks that. Now this is more into the kind of arguing with the whole oh, well, we didn't know it was we didn't know you guys were in the same gang, right? Once again, I'm being totally respectful here. I'm pointing out information that I'm seeing and why I'm thinking this certain way. Antoine knew Curtis was there because he called Curtis, and he knew I was there because he mentioned me on the phone, but for some reason wasn't able to determine that the downed person, Carmela, who wasn't wearing a mask, was Carmela. Even with the added info that two of her gang members were there trying to help her. It's like, no, that's one of those things where all the information available points at it being Carmela. She wasn't wearing a mask. Carmela looks like Carmela. And two of her gang members were trying to grab her. So there's that. My main anger around like this whole thing, the reason why I'm so focused on it is because of the phone call to Curtis afterward. Because the phone call afterward kind of points out like a couple oddities. So here's like my thought process. A cop can 100% threaten somebody who's grabbing their gang member, right? Hutch literally said that too. Hutch said, would I threaten to shoot? Yes. Would I do it? No, because it's CG saving CG. So yeah, a cop can 100% threaten to do it. I have no problem with that. It's consistent, you know? If you threaten, it's consistent in character. But the call to Curtis afterward was literally just to, like, the first thing he said was, Richard's a fucking idiot. The call to Curtis was specifically to insult me for questioning it, showing that he truly thought he was right to shoot me, because he did say, I should have laid him out. As well as admitting to going to bed after because he was mad. So, like, that's the thing, right? I'm totally okay with, like, in character threatening to shoot somebody, but then from an OOC standpoint, knowing not to do it. Like Hutch said, would I threaten to shoot? Yes. Would I do it? No. Okay. But making that phone call to Curtis and then also saying that it made you mad to the point where you went to bed showcases that from an OOC standpoint, you truly think that you should have shot there. Once again, I'm laying out my the info at my disposal and my thought process. No, I still don't think that you're right to shoot there because, like I said, Carmela, no mask. Richard, no mask. Curtis, no mask. 3 CG members. Yeah, no. I have, you have every right in character to defend through, threatening, or you have every right in character to defend threatening to shoot someone for snatching someone off the ground for consistency's sake. But Carmela had no mask. I had no mask. You knew Curtis was there. All the evidence was there to tell you what was happening. So to claim I was an idiot and that you had, quote, every right to shoot me is just factually wrong. Threaten, yes, but all the evidence points to us being in the same gang. Therefore, no reason to actually shoot. That's the info at my disposal and why I find that that's like my justification for why I think I'm right here. Everything I listed about the no masks paired with the Ravage clip of explaining it, it's just that stuff adds up. It's literally a math equation of, are they acquainted? Yes. We all had no masks. We're in the same gang. Yes. Equals you don't actually shoot us. So that's my main thought process there. Once again, being totally respectful here. I'm just pointing out how I see it. I know that Dose sees it a different way. I'm explaining why I don't agree with how they see it. Hutch saying I should play cop for a week. I want to. Dookie wants to be a cop. I don't agree with Hutch saying that I would see it differently after a week, considering I'm very open about the fact that if I was a cop, I would never try to charge somebody for excess amount of time. Because I've always said that I don't think as playing as cop, I could get enjoyment sending people to jail for hundreds of hours. I would probably get fired very early for trying to cut people's time down as much as I can, because I don't see the enjoyment in putting someone to jail. If someone's already getting sent to jail for 80 months, I'm not going to be like, all right, well, here's another charge to send them even longer. I just don't see enjoyment in that. So if I were to get fired, I believe it would be because of that, because just like as Crim, I don't take things super seriously. So if I were to play cop, I would probably just not care if Crims get away, which I know could easily end with me getting fired because somebody would say, why did you let them get away? You're not cut out for this job. You're fired. I always try to put other enjoyment above mine, so I could never get enjoyment out of sending somebody to jail for 200 plus hours. It's just, I wouldn't find that fun. I would probably purposefully let people get away. I would do some fuck shit while in a chase. I would like try to take a stupid jump and then flip and then they would get away. That would definitely be something that I would do because I don't care if I catch them. I get nothing out of catching them. It's just, yeah, I don't think I would change my view if I played cop for a week. Even though I did. I was a cop for a little bit before the server reset. But yeah, I mean, that's basically my point there. I haven't, there is a few other things that I do have listed here, but if I were to list them, then things would get a little bit more serious. I feel I've been perfectly respectable here. I laid out how I view things, how I process those viewpoints, and why I think he's wrong from my point of view. He's perfectly welcome to disagree with me on it, but I feel like I've made a lot of points here, and you can see the logic behind these points. My main anger just comes from the chatters. The chatters are actually brain dead. The ones that were saying, that clip of Ravage is from 4 months ago. Okay, well, when Antoine had that phone call with Curtis, he said it's been that way for months, so that clip is most likely what he was referring to. But chatters don't care about that. You know. That's basically everything I have there. I did have pictures of Carmela not wearing her mask, just so I have evidence of it. I can just show those to just justify it, just so I can prove that Carmela didn't have a mask. Because there were chatters that were saying that Carmela was wearing a mask. So it is funny how, once again, chatters just say things and are completely wrong? Chatters just say things and don't do their research, which against me is not going to work because I'm notorious for doing research. No mask. No mask. No mask. So that's just the evidence that Carmela wasn't wearing a mask for those chatters that were saying that she was. No, she wasn't. And she looks exactly like Carmela. This is Carmela. She has multiple tattoos that are visible. She looks, that's just Carmela. Even if you want to say, oh, well, she looks so similar to like other characters, which is a valid argument. I've said that a lot too, that in GTA you can only make your character look so different. But there's also the added context that I was there and Curtis was there and Paris was there, but I don't think anybody saw Paris. So there's 3 CG members there, so yes, you can discern that this is Carmela. Therefore, associated gang, do not threaten to shoot. Do not actually shoot. I have some other stuff here. I'm not going to bring them up unless it becomes relevant, but I do have some other stuff here that I'd prefer not to bring up unless it becomes relevant. We will see. That's basically all I want to say about that situation. I'm over it. I've laid out my entire thought process. There's nothing more I have to say about it. If people disagree with me, they disagree with me. But I've laid out everything that I have thought